Why go with a small business over these big conglomerates that you see, that have all this advertising power, and you can't help but get away from, or you can't get away from their name and anything. I mean, let's face it, I can look up buying a part for some obscure thing, and just because Amazon has such buying power in their advertising, that Amazon pops up, and they don't even sell it anyway, but they still pop up. They're not a specialist in it. I'm not saying that the large franchises aren't specialists in some degree, but I think what we all know from working with small businesses, or local businesses for that matter, is the personal touch that you get. Now, I've owned this company for 19 years, and prior to me, it was started by a gentleman who was a neighbor of mine, and we became very friendly. He started it in the 80s. He was really a pioneer in this industry. He was a trapper who liked to trap on his own, who then neighbors found out he knew how to trap. So, can you get a woodchuck for me? Can you help me with a skunk? What is this bat situation? And he took it to a new level. He still speaks a lot nationally, and he's very renowned. I was glad to learn from him. But that being said, there's lots of franchises out there. There's people that have, certain names. I'm not going to mention any names for any businesses because it just doesn't. I just don't do that. But there are large franchises out there, and as nice as they may be, they're not able to have a personal touch. Now, we had 7 trucks on the road for a long time, so I guess as far as a local business goes, we were pretty big, but it just kind of got out of control. It was hard to manage. It was hard to continue to keep that level of quality where I wanted it to be. I'm not saying I'm the best. I make plenty of mistakes. But the difference between a commercial company as opposed to a local, if you call us, you're going to get me. I answer the phone, I do the job, I do the inspections. I still say we a lot and us, just because I think I got too many personalities in my head, so it's kind of what I go with. But you don't know what you're going to get when you call a professional company, if they're even going to answer. They're not going to remember you. They're not going to remember your dog, or they're not going to be able to joke with you about what's going on. Not that why you're calling me should be a joking matter, but at least I remember. I see your house. I go, I remember that house. I remember what we did. It doesn't make sense that that's going on. Or, we did talk about that area having some rotten wood, and maybe they finally got through that. So I know where to go. I know how to get there and fix it. I have the ability to maneuver my own schedule and prioritize jobs based on what's going on, and the fear in your voice, and what needs to happen. Whereas a lot of times with a commercial company, that personal touch can get lost. And it's very cookie cutter in their processes. It's very cookie cutter in their tooling. A lot of these franchises are mandated in what they can use by product, by tool, by materials, just because they're purchased. As a franchise, they have to pay their fees. They have to buy their materials from a franchise. I don't have to. I can use anything I want from anybody. I'll tell you right out front, with mouse trapping, I can buy any type of mechanism I want for mouse trapping. You know what I use? I still use wooden mouse traps. You know why? Because they work the best. And there's no trick. I don't need a funky paste bait that looks professional so I can charge you more. I use peanut butter. It always works. If peanut butter slows down, I'll put a little molasses in it, or some sunflower seeds. So you get a different finished product when you do with a local company, and I think that that goes a long way with me. I know we shop locally for 90% of our stuff, whether it be our meats and a lot of our products here in small towns. We like to do that. You can't get away from big box stores and the professional side of it for everything. That just doesn't make sense. You're shooting yourself in the foot sometimes by doing that. But try your best to deal with local companies, whether it be mine or any of the other ones that are out there. There's a lot of decent companies out there that'll give you that same personal touch. Try to get that. Try to know that person that's going to be coming around your house and your family and your pets and your kids. Learn the products. Ask hard questions. Want to see the materials they're going to use and why they chose that over another thing, like why I wouldn't use steel wool and why I'd use copper mesh, even though copper is more expensive, because steel wool inevitably is going to break down and it's going to rust and it's going to stain your house. So small things like that make a big difference. I could save a lot of money by using steel wool or little washer pads to fill holes, but it's not going to last and it's going to look terrible. And I see a lot of my customers in stores sometimes when I'm with my grandkids or shopping, and I don't want to feel like I got to hide behind the aisles because I know I didn't do the right job for them, or they're having problems and I don't answer my phone. So I might not answer it as quickly as someone like, but I get to it eventually as quick as I can. Give us a call.